You are about to hear the captivating voice of an icon in the movie industry. You have heard him and seen him in performances in over 140 films. He's met and influenced many world leaders, and now he's about to tell you how to unite the America he loves.
That job's filled.
Unique. Brilliant. And unpredictable. Robert Davi is a Renaissance man who writes, directs, sings, and does it all with excellence.
Yes, okay, we're all very impressed, but let's get on with it now.
Robert Davi believes he should use his voice to both repay and help unite America, the America that made his dreams come true.
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Robert Davi Show.
What's up, everybody? It's Nick Davi, the son of Robert Davi. I'm here co-hosting the show today, so don't worry. We will have our special guest host here in a second. My dad is still on location filming a movie. It's top secret. Can't talk much about it just yet, but he will have a message for us soon. Anyways, let's move on to our special guest host, Mr. Steve Evans. Not only has he appeared on shows here at CRN for many years, but he has worked for Showtime Networks and Sundance for many years. Anyways, Mr. Steve Evans, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Nick. Great to be here. Great to talk about movies today. This is going to be fun.
Always a great time to talk about film.
Yeah, let's just jump right in. I mean, what have you seen lately that you like?
Lately, well, I haven't gotten around to watching Dune just yet. I really, really want to watch that. I really want to watch The French Dispatch, but I have seen The Many Saints of Newark recently.
Yes, what'd you think of that?
I liked it, but to be honest, I was slightly disappointed. I didn't exactly get the story I wanted out of the film, but then again, maybe that doesn't.
Well, for those that aren't familiar, yeah, of course, it's the story of The Sopranos. You know, it's the story of The Sopranos before The Sopranos, and Gandolfini's son plays the young soprano. You know, and so it's interesting from that point of view. I haven't seen it yet, but you say you didn't quite get the story you were looking for.
No, yeah. So there were like all those really cool Easter eggs from the old Soprano films, including the characters and stuff. That was really awesome, I thought. And what's his? God, I'm having a brain fart. James Gandolfini's son. He was actually amazing. He surprised me quite a bit.
It's eerie. He looks so much like him and acts like him. It was just, it is kind of eerie how he approached that part.
Yeah, I won't ruin anything for you, but you should check that out for sure.
Yeah, that's on the list. Well, I did go see the French Dispatch. We had talked about that, and you are a Wes Anderson fan, right?
Huge Wes Anderson fan. Probably the first movie I saw of his was The Life Aquatic.
The Life Aquatic. Well, of course, he did Moonrise Kingdom, Royal Tenenbaum. He also did The Grand Budapest. I think that was his last one. You know, the thing about him, I mean, he's really kind of an offbeat director. Not probably somebody for everybody, but visually he is just. I mean, I don't think there's anything to compare him to. And as I was watching this French Dispatch, I was thinking, man, this movie took a lot of work to put together because there is scene after scene, there is setup after setup. It seems like there's a cast of thousands. I mean, we have Bill Murray and Timothée Chalamet and Christoph Waltz and Saoirse Ronan, and it just goes on and on. But the interesting thing about it, I was saw it last weekend, and I felt kind of strangely emotionally disconnected to the thing. I don't know what it is. It's I found myself kind of nodding off, and I was thinking, wait a minute, this is great stuff. You can't fall asleep, but it just wasn't really emotionally involving for me, and I don't know why that is. I mean, I think the reason is, it's just a movie about a newspaper that has this thing called the French Dispatch. It's it's a fictional newspaper in Kansas, and they send some people over based roughly on the old New Yorker magazine, and which was a magazine with all this high-powered intellectual talent that would write about all these wonderful things, but it with an emphasis on intellectual. And I think that this movie was a very intellectual take on this whole subject, but it wasn't that emotionally involving. So, but once again, amazing to look at. And I would recommend it just for that alone. 77% of the critics recommended it. And if you are a Wes Anderson fan, I think it's definitely one to see. Have you seen The Last Duel?
The Last Duel? No, oh, that's another one I gotta see. See, I've been slacking.
This isn't it. Well, I tell you, we try to get out and see, whatever's out. We try to go to the theater every week, and because that's the way I love to see movies. But this is a movie. This is like Ridley Scott, and we have some high-powered talent. Ben Affleck is in this, and also we have Matt Damon, Jodie Comer, and it is, your typical kind of gladiator sort of a movie with knights in armor and duels and jousting on horseback and things like that. But they say it's kind of like Gladiator with a Me Too twist, because essentially it's about this man declaring that he has raped his wife, and so that to settle this whole thing, they decide to have a big duel, joust on horseback, and that's kind of the backstory. So it was much more of a movie than I thought it was going to be, and it really, it's not really doing well at the box office. It's just tanking. I think it did like $5 million its opening weekend, and this is a movie that was expensive to make. It was like $100 million movie. So it's and it's like I say, it's just all this talent, and for whatever reason, it didn't capture the attention of the public. But we'll have a chance to see it, I guess, when it goes online. I like the James Bond movie. Did you see that?
I have seen clips of it. Some of my friends have been sharing some clips of it with me. They've been trying to ruin it, like send me spoilers and stuff. So I haven't seen it yet, but I have seen clips, because my friends are cruel.
Yeah, but you have to be kind of careful, because the last scene is something that shouldn't be revealed. But it's got great reviews. It is Daniel Craig's final turn as James Bond, and it was very. I was encouraged, because I'm a big fan of the franchise, and this is, I don't know, something like the 25th Bond film, and it just, when they play that theme, and all of a sudden you see the opening sequence, it's like, okay, here we go. This is going to be fun.
It's just riveting.
I would recommend that. Well, your dad was in a James Bond film, right?
Yes, he was. He was in License to Kill.
With Timothy Dalton as James Bond.
Yeah, he played Franz Sanchez, a Colombian drug lord.
Must have been quite an experience, huh?
That had to have been an experience. Like watching that movie growing up, oh, that was probably one of my favorites. That and Goonies. Ever since seeing Goonies, oh, I was just obsessed with pirates from then on. But
yeah, well, I tell you, it as a matter of fact, speaking of your dad, I was looking him up on IMDb, and his list of credits goes on forever. I mean, he has been a busy guy.
Yep, he's worked with everyone and anyone. It's pretty crazy. So like I'm a young actor too. Still have a lot to learn. I mean, honestly, with this art form, you can never stop learning. There's always something to learn. But every time he's explaining things to me and talking about film, I'm just a sponge around him, like just soaking it all up as much as I can, because he really obviously knows what he's talking about. Over 150 movies, it's insane.
That's amazing. That is, and like I say, when you're an actor, I think the object is to be a working actor, and certainly he has been. I mean, that's really the trick.
Yeah.
Years ago, I was thinking about being an actor, but I don't think I would have been what you would call a working actor. I never did. I was one of those things where years ago. Well, I'll tell you what. Years ago, I was studying speech and drama, in a community college up in the Northwest. And it was a summer of '69, and I had a chance to go to the Ashland Shakespearean Shakespearean Festival to work for that summer. And it was one of those deals where you'd show up, you'd be like an extra, or you'd be standing holding a spear in one of these productions. It didn't pay anything. I think there may have been some sort of a communal dorm and maybe a soup kitchen or something like that, but it was really not a money-making enterprise. And I could have gone there, or I could have gone down to work the summer at a radio station in Grays Harbor, Aberdeen, Washington, rock and roll radio station, which really didn't pay much more. But I thought, it was one of those one of those things, one of those crossroads in life where you go, which way should I go here? This is going to determine my future. I luckily, because I wasn't much of an actor, luckily I went to radio, went the radio route, and it was a very smart decision on my part. Yeah, but it's a great profession. I mean, it really is fun. And you have been working on a film, right? Just down in Florida, am I right?
Yes. Actually, just about a month ago now, we finished filming. They're currently editing things together, putting it all together, doing the movie magic and stuff. And that always takes a long while, unfortunately. But yeah, that was quite an experience. It was.
Can we reveal the title and when it's coming out?
We can reveal the title, but as of right now, we do not know when it's coming out. But it is called The Devil's Trap.
Devil's Trap.
Yeah.
And who are you working with?
I co-starred with Bruce Dern, Richard Grieco, and Michael Pare.
Which is amazing. I mean, to be able to work with Bruce Dern. What was that experience like?
It was something else. Like, it's almost hard to explain, but we'll have to wait for the next segment because we are coming up on a break here. But yeah, anyway, that was something else. I'm still not over it. I think about it every day. I learned so much in a very little amount of time, and yeah.
So we'll talk about Nick Davi, we'll talk about Bruce Dern and The Devil's Trap when we return.
Perfect. Alrighty, we'll be back in just a sec after these messages.
I'm Al Simon, 91 years young. I created Balance 7 20 years ago. At 67, I went to see the doctor for the first time in my life and found that I had medical problems. He told me that was normal for my age. I don't believe God intended us to be sick and old. I decided to find something to bring my health back. For 10 years, I studied pH and how important it is to the human system. Balance 7 gave me back what I lost by getting older. I no longer get out of bed with a joint discomfort. Balance 7 can do for you what it has done for me and many others. In 3 days' time, you'll feel more energy, less joint discomfort, and clarity of thinking. No doctor or hospital can do what Balance 7 can do for you. Balance 7 is the key to unlocking the healthy immune system. Bring your body back to balance. Order now. Receive free shipping with the code word AL. Go to balance7.com. That's balance7.com. Order now and get your free shipping and a free gift with your order. Go to balance7.com. Use the code word AL.
Does your current bathroom need to be updated immediately? Introducing One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling, the complete and hassle-free way to get the new bathroom of your dreams in as little as 1 day. And for as little as $199 a month. Yes, the experts at One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling will come to you anywhere in the country and show you all the customized options. Now you can have a brand new bathroom in as little as 1 day. Large or small bathrooms, if you want a new bathtub or shower installed, we can do it in as little as 1 day. And if you call right now, you can save $750 off your remodel. We make it easy by offering you financing as low as $199 per month. Call now to schedule your free in-home consultation.
855-525-7454. 855-525-7454. That's 855-525-7454.
These are the sounds of Columbo's Italian Steakhouse and Jazz Club.
Look at this ribeye. Did you see that ribeye?
Fantastic. Incredible.
This is delicious.
Sausage and lentil soup, special today. Very, very good.
Look at this garlic bread. Best garlic bread I ever had.
And here's Vic Perino, owner and operator of Columbo's.
A lot of the Italian recipes are my uncle's own recipes. We have a lot of people coming back for his hand-rolled lasagna. We make it basically from scratch. I think ours is exceptional.
Here's Vic on what makes makes Columbo's different than any other Italian restaurant.
The other thing that sets us apart from other Italian restaurants is that we're an Italian steakhouse. We specialize in our steaks.
Plus, there's more.
We have entertainment 7 nights a week. So they're coming for a lot of reasons to value. Their value per dollar that they're getting, plus coming into a neighborhood-friendly place that, sometimes we're actually accused of being the melting pot of Eagle Rock.
Columbo's in Eagle Rock on Colorado Boulevard, 323-254-9138. Mangia.
Robert Davi.
I want you to know this is nothing personal. It's purely business.
And we are back. We're going to be talking about The Devil's Trap, this new movie that Nick was working on. You were down in Florida, right?
Yep, down in Miami, Florida. That was a lot of fun, too, to be in the sun for a little bit.
And working with the great Bruce Dern. If you speaking of IMDb credits, you take a look at his list, my God.
Yeah.
He goes back, way back to the 60s. I think he did a movie, Wild Angels, with Roger Corman was one of his early efforts with, Nancy Sinatra and Peter Fonda or whatever. One of those early bike flicks back then. And of course, he seems to be the type of guy that is getting better with age. And if you take a look at his IMDb page, he has about 10 or 12 projects currently in the works. And he is 85 years old and going strong. It's crazy. So what was it like to work with him?
It was unlike anything I've ever even been a part of in my life. Like, obviously, I have my dad, but I haven't started a movie with my dad or anything, Like, we do our improv in there, and he coaches me, but it's a little different when you actually get to work with somebody. But working with him, it was very nerve-wracking. I had a lot of anxiety because he does not follow the script. The script is a suggestion to him, so...
Just a place to begin, huh?
Pretty much. It's literally just an idea for him, but every scene we did together, and we did pretty much the entire film together, we had to... Well, it was all improv. So that means I had to improv as well, and he was actually really impressed with what I was able to do at my age. That's what he said.
Very cool, yeah. I mean, that's a high compliment because he is a guy that's worked with everybody. Well, that's interesting because I guess, some people I would suppose do follow the script almost religiously, but somebody like Bruce Dern likes to be in the moment, have that feel that it is it's the sort of thing that is happening now and in the moment. So it's great to be able to work with somebody like that. Do we know when that's going to come out?
Unfortunately, we do not know, but it's going to be for sure next year sometime, so sometime 2022, because it just takes a while to edit films, and they want to make it perfect.
So I took a quick peek. It's about a mental institution, is that right? And some menacing presence in a mental institution, is that the idea?
That is correct. It's
a horror film.
Yeah. So I'm a paraplegic, and I wake up in a hospital not knowing what's happened. And when I wake up, there's a man next to me. His name is Mr. Cohen, aka Bruce Dern's character. And he somehow knows everything about me and my sister. And from then on, things just get strange and crazy, and it's a hell of a ride.
Man, that sounds great. Horror films, what a genre to work in.
Yeah.
It's, all this is Halloween weekend, so I would suppose that, it's one of the things we should look at. Top film. Do you have a favorite horror film over the years?
Ooh, a favorite? Ooh, that's even harder for horror movies because there aren't like a whole lot of great ones, but
yeah, I think
I'm gonna have
The Exorcist has to be high on my list.
That's
The Shining also was a great one. Mm-hmm. But the crazy thing about these horror films, it's kind of like James Bond in a sense because they develop these franchises and they just seem to go on forever. I mean, like a couple of weeks ago was, the Halloween film Halloween Kills, which was the 12th in that series, which has been going on, I think, since like 78. John Carpenter made that movie in 78 for like $300,000, and it has just taken off. And it is, God, I have no idea. It's generated over $1 billion, I think, worldwide so far.
That's crazy.
So, it's the type of, and I don't know, it's just something, I'm not a huge fan of the genre, but a lot of people just love to be scared out of their mind. I don't know, what is it?
I think it's similar to video games, I think. This is actually something I've researched before. And I think it's because when you watch a horror film or you play a scary game or something like that, it's almost as if you're facing death, but at the end of it, you're still alive. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
it's that vicarious thrill.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just one of those weird mind things.
Well, if anybody is looking for great horror films, I took a look at the top grossing horror films. It's really not what you would think. I mean, the Stephen King horror film is number one. It made about 700 million worldwide. The Sixth Sense, remember that with the?
Ooh, that's
that was
a great one. I forget about that.
War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds. Yeah. Do you remember the Thing? The one with Chris Russell.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Right. That was a long time ago. I Am Legend. Let's see. And we have Kong Skull Island. Those are the top 5. And then, of course, you have the Scream films. You have the Halloween films. You have the Saw films. So there's no shortage of material. And hey, and the great thing about living now is that all are available on Netflix or Amazon. So I guess if you want to scare yourself to death this weekend, you're able to do so. You've worked on quite a few movie sets.
Yes, I have. I've worked on about, let me think here. 1, 2, a total of 3 movie sets, and then I've done a couple of TV shows.
So you are, and I suppose there have been firearms or, those have been used on the set?
Yes, they have been used.
What is your take on the Alec Baldwin thing? What happened there with Rust down in Santa Fe?
Well, it's a very strange situation. It's a weird one. I think it all lies on the head of the prop master. This is their fault. There should never be live ammunition in a weapon. Yes, in films they use real weapons as prop guns, but it's not a common thing at all for live ammunition to be inside the gun,
I was talking to somebody last night, and the safety record really is pretty admirable, because you take a look at the last person that was killed or even I think injured with a firearm on a set was Brandon Lee, which was way back in '93.
That's right, on the set of The Crow. Yeah, that's an even weirder situation.
Yeah, what happened there? What was that wasn't necessarily a live round in the chamber, but how'd that work?
Well, it was that one was really strange. So it was a gun, a real gun with blanks in it, but somehow a bullet wound up lodged in the barrel of the gun. So when the actor pulled the trigger and it was pointed right at Brandon Lee, the blank went off, but there's still gunpowder in the blank. And then now, since there's a bullet lodged in the barrel, that's going to set it off, making it a live weapon. So that's what happened there. But that's even weirder because, like, a lot of people say it has to do with the Bruce Lee curse, dying young, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a strange
Yeah, that was a sad situation. And this was... there had been talk about maybe the crew doing target practice out in the desert, and somehow maybe one of those guns made it onto the set. I don't know. We'll find out eventually. It's going to be thoroughly investigated, but it's a very sad situation. I can't imagine what it would be like to have, be responsible for that, to be the one, Alec Baldwin, with the gun in his hand and have that thing go off. It just must be a horrible feeling.
No, yeah, I feel terrible for the families that have been affected, but I do feel bad for Alec Baldwin because he has taken a lot of fire. Yes, he might not have followed the gun safety rules, but it's all on the prop master. There should never be live ammunition in a weapon, ever.
We will find out eventually. What about your top 5 movies? You want to talk about that when we come back?
Yeah, when we get back, we'll talk about it. I want to hear your list too. So
okay.
Yeah, when we get back, we'll talk about that. We'll be back soon after these messages.
Hi, this is Fred Dreyer. Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO of MyPillow, wants to give back to our listeners. You can get great discounts on all MyPillow products if you go to MyPillow.com right now and click on the Radio Listener Special. Get deep discounts on MyPillow mattress toppers, towels, and so much more. For example, Mike is offering a buy one, get one free offer on Giza sheets. All My Pillow products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. So go to MyPillow.com and click on the radio listeners special for a buy one, get one free offer on Giza sheets. Enter my promo code, works for me, for these great specials. Go to MyPillow.com and enter my promo code, works for me. I'm Fred Dreyer, and believe me, this deal really does work for me.
You order a glass of your favorite Cabernet, fresh asparagus, hollandaise on the side, a filet, medium rare. You unfurl your napkin with a flair, close your eyes, and prepare to listen. Ah, there it is. The sweet music you long to hear. The sizzle. The sizzle of a Ruth's Chris steak.
The most magnificent corn-fed prime beef, broiled to perfection at 1800 degrees. Some call it a sizzle. We call it an anthem.
As the waiter approaches, you think, is this one mine or that one?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Like Ruth always said, life's too short to eat anywhere else.
Make a reservation online at ruthschris.com or by calling 800-544-0808. Have you heard about Vine to Bar chocolate? It's the winemaker's chocolate, the world's first chocolate made with well-vined Chardonnay marc from the beautiful coastal vineyards of North America. Gently pressed grapes are harvested after juicing, dried and finely milled and carefully blended into the finest dark chocolate. The Chardonnay marc contains highly beneficial grape nutrients, flavanols, and has a natural sweetness that flavors the luscious dark chocolate. Mouth-watering, flavorful, delectable dark chocolate goodness with Chardonnay sweetness and beneficial nutrients. And it's alcohol-free, too. It's Vine to Bar chocolate. Order some today at vinetobar.com. That's VINETOBAR.com. Cold shipped to your door, it's Vine to Bar. Vine to Bar chocolate. Visit us at vinetobar.com.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Their expert staff can help you turn your book idea into a real book, a masterpiece that could someday make the bestseller list in hard copy and digitally all across the world. Page Publishing can help you completely take your idea for a book, write it, and publish it. So if you want to join the ranks of some of the most famous authors in the world, call now for a free information kit. Turn your book idea into publishing gold. Make a free call right now to Page Publishing.
800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. That's 800-378-3212.
The Robert Davi Show.
This is authentic. Una furtiva lacrima negli occhi.
And we are back. We're going to be talking about top 5 lists. I mean, I think it's very important that everybody have their top 5 lists of all-time favorite movies. I mean, maybe Nick, you saw a movie years ago called High Fidelity. Remember that with John Cusack and Jack Black?
I love
and
that
the
movie.
John Cusack character, he played this guy who owned a record store, and he was always coming up with these top 5 lists, the top 5 love songs and they would debate these things endlessly. And it's fun. I mean, to be able, and I just kind of took it over to the movie side of things, and I think it's important for everybody to have their top 5. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
All right. Now, you have to realize I've been around a lot longer than you have. So a lot of these, you're probably going, what? When was that?
No.
Apocalypse Now is on the list.
Marlon Brando.
And Marlon Brando, and it was, Francis Ford Coppola, and it's just, I just saw the movie again not long ago, and I was just amazed at how well it held up. I mean, it's Marlon Brando, Martin Sheen, Robert Duvall, and at the time, because when it was released back in '72, Vietnam War was raging. It really captured kind of the madness that was going on over there, and it just is an amazing film. And it's one of those ones that is important. I think for a movie to make your top 5 list, it not only has to be a good movie, but there has to be some sort of connection personally, and that certainly was the case with that one. Another one, Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, that's another great film. It's the same actor. Sorry to interrupt you, but have you seen The Ruling Class?
No, I haven't.
It's a far out
Peter
film.
O'Toole?
Yeah, Peter O'Toole. Yep.
Peter O'Toole. I'm making a note right now.
Check that out. But sorry to interrupt. Continue. Sorry.
No. A huge fan of Peter O'Toole and a huge fan of this movie. And he did this movie. I think he was like, in his early 20s when he did it. And it's a David Lean film. And these were massive productions. I mean, they would take a couple of years, and they were over in the desert. And it was, long before a lot of these effects were available. So you had to shoot the thing for real. And they had people on camels and armies and all this going on. And it's just such an incredible tale and such a epic film. So that also is on my list. Godfather. I think I would say The Godfather is on a lot of lists.
Definitely.
Because, there's the old joke that all the important information and thinking in the world is, in The Godfather somewhere. But, it was such kind of a revolutionary movie to make at the time. And Francis Ford Coppola just, he was on a roll. And once again, great talent. You had Robert Duvall in that movie as well, Marlon Brando, and, Al Pacino, Diane Keaton. I mean, it was just an amazing cast, and it just kind of blew everybody away. And I read an interesting article the other day about Mario Puzo, who wrote the book, of course, which the movie was based on. And he's a very interesting character. But the interesting thing was the character, the Marlon Brando character, the Godfather, was actually based on Mario's mother. I don't know whether you've heard that.
I did not hear that.
She was kind of the one in that household that ruled with an iron fist, and people were constantly coming to her to take care of this and take care of that. And she was just kind of this natural born leader. So I thought that was interesting. And then Citizen Kane, and not necessarily because it is Citizen Kane and everybody thinks it has to be on everybody's list, but it's the type of movie that we're still talking about years and years and years after it was produced. And of course, the movie's one thing. But then, it's the backstory, and it's about Orson Welles and William Randolph Hearst and Marion Davies, and it was portrayed so brilliantly in a movie last year, Mank, which came out about Herman Mankiewicz and the writing and all. Did you see that movie, by the way?
I did not see Mank. I did not.
Oh, you gotta see it if you're a movie fan, I think. And it's like I say, I mean, it's an interesting film, but you have this guy, Orson Welles, this young hotshot that came out of New York. And he decided, and RKO said, look, we're kind of on the skids here. We need something to happen. So you have complete creative control. You can do whatever you want. And Orson said, okay, I'll do it. And so that's what he did. And it was just turned into this amazing film. And then that we're still talking about today. And it's one of those amazing things that I think, besides the movie, there is that big backstory. And then a movie called About Time. Have you seen that?
About Time. Oh wait, is it with the English actors?
Right, Bill Nighy.
I actually really loved that movie. I enjoyed that. It was very warming and heart wrenching. It was really good.
It's just such a great concept. Domhnall Gleeson is in it, Rachel McAdams is in it, Bill Nighy, and for those that haven't seen the movie, it's about this family where the men in this family can travel back in time, and the whole idea is if you were able to travel back in time and right the wrongs and get the do-overs, I think that everybody would like, what would you do with them? And it's just such and I would highly recommend everybody watch it. I just watched it again the other night because it is such a great message. And it's by Dick Curtis. Richard Curtis did, Love Actually and Notting Hill. And he has a real, Four Weddings and a Funeral is another one. And he has a real touch, a real way to tell these tales. And obviously, it's kind of an absurd idea whenever you get into time travel and working out all the logistics. And
but the way they do it, though,
the way they do it, and that you kind of just all accept that. That's kind of beside the point because the real message is, which comes through at the end of the movie, and I won't give anything away. But what this guy decides to do and what he learns by the fact that he is able to travel back in time and correct a few things along the way. It's a terrific movie, though. I think I would highly recommend that. And I don't know, have I been through 5? Is that 5? I think it's 5.
I think so, but that is one hell of a list. That's going to be hard to compete with there.
And then, of course, the bonus would be The Big Lebowski, but that's a separate conversation. So let's hear yours. Do we have time for yours?
We do have a little time for mine. I'll skid through it here real quick. But I actually have a little bonus one on there myself. But to start it off, I have On the Waterfront with Marlon Brando.
Wow.
I don't know. It's just... I grew up with my father. I grew up watching Fellini films on his lap, silent films, all black and white.
So you had kind of an interesting education growing up.
Yeah, I really did. I loved The Honeymooners. I used to watch that with my dad all the time when I was little. Like that was we would just crack up watching that.
The great one.
Yeah, the great one. But yeah, Eva St. Marie is in that movie as well as Carl Malden. It's a great cast, great film. It's it's probably one of the best films in history. People might hate on me for that, but I that's just my opinion. It's about a box. It's a great film. Check it out, okay? But I got to continue on the list here. So second on my list, I'm going to have to say Moneyball with Brad Pitt. I don't know.
Beautiful movie.
Yeah, right? Yeah. It's just so cool to really see how sports general managers, like how it all goes down behind the scenes. And like, especially the story of this film. It's a true story.
Yeah.
It changed the game. And it's a great film too. And then
true.
I'm going to throw a little Western in here. Now, people like to hate on Clint Eastwood for one film he did. I forget exactly what it's called. I think it's The Bridges of something.
Oh, Madison County.
Yes, The Bridges of Madison County. People would make fun of it, saying it's not a Western film, it's a romance movie. But a lot of people said this too about this film I'm about to mention right now, but I don't think that's true at all. It's a classic revenge story, and it's one of my favorite Westerns personally. It's called One-Eyed Jacks with Marlon Brando. I'm a huge Brando fan, all right?
I'm getting that impression, yeah.
Big old soul here. But yeah, that's a great film. A bunch of great one-liners that you love to hear in Westerns. Like, my favorite one from it is like, "Get up, you big tub of guts." And like, it's just one of those great Westerns. And then A Rebel Without a Cause with James Dean. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington with James Stewart. And then my bonus film. Yeah. Do you like that one?
You
Mr.
do
Smith?
have quite a, that is an impressive list. I mean, there's some, I was thinking you'd come up with a more contemporary list, but this is all great stuff.
Yeah. That's why I'm slacking a little bit on the newer movies. I'm a big oldie guy. But yeah, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington is a great watch. It shows the hypocrisy on both sides of political parties, and it shows a man defending himself when he's been set up in lies. It's a great film.
Classic.
It's A Wonderful Life is the bonus one. But we will have to take a break here. We will be back very soon. Your special guest host, Steve Evans, and your co-host, Nick Davi. We will be back after these messages.
I'm Al Simon, 91 years young. I created Balance 7 20 years ago. At 67, I went to see the doctor for the first time in my life and found that I had medical problems. He told me that was normal for my age. I don't believe God intended us to be sick and old. I decided to find something to bring my health back. For 10 years, I studied pH and how important it is to the human system. Balance 7 gave me back what I lost by getting older. I no longer get out of bed with a joint discomfort. Balance 7 can do for you what it has done for me and many others. In 3 days' time, you'll feel more energy, less joint discomfort, and clarity of thinking. No doctor or hospital can do what Balance 7 can do for you. Balance 7 is the key to unlocking the healthy immune system. Bring your body back to balance. Order now. Receive free shipping with the code word AL. Go to balance7.com. That's balance7.com. Order now and get your free shipping and a free gift with your order. Go to balance7.com. Use the code word AL.
Keep listening for a free offer from U.S. Med. If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of sticking your fingers over and over again. By simply wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, You can reduce the pain of sticking your fingers right away if you're testing your blood sugar daily and administering insulin 3 or more times per day, or using an insulin pump. Call today and learn about the latest CGM technology. We'll send you a free ebook telling you all you need to know about CGMs. A CGM can immediately reduce pain. It's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. Your new CGM may be covered by Medicare or private insurance. Call now to learn more. 800-524-9313. 800-524-9313. That's 800-524-9313.
You order a glass of your favorite Cabernet, fresh asparagus, hollandaise on the side, a filet, medium rare. You unfurl your napkin with a flair, close your eyes, and prepare to listen. Ah, there it is. The sweet music you long to hear. The sizzle. The sizzle of a Ruth's Chris steak.
The most magnificent corn-fed prime beef, broiled to perfection at 1800 degrees. Some call it a sizzle. We call it an anthem.
As the waiter approaches, you think, is this one mine or that one?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Like Ruth always said, life's too short to eat anywhere else.
Make a reservation online at ruthschris.com or by calling 800-544-0808.
The Robert Davi Show.
Mike? You let me down, Mike. You're making me look bad. Thought we had an understanding. And all I expect is a little cooperation!
Sorry, Robert.
And we're back. We're talking about movies. Nick, we obviously love movies, and I'd be curious to think of what you think the future of the medium may be. I mean, we've been through this big pandemic. The theaters were actually shut down, and literally nobody went for a long time, which led to this amazing, incredible growth on the streaming side of things. Now you have Warner Brothers, which is they are releasing these movies day and date with the theatrical and online, which is kind of a thorn in the side of the theater owners. I was glad to see when I went to see The French Dispatch last weekend. We go to the Landmark over in West LA, and that was the first weekend where actually there was a sizable crowd in the theater. We usually go in the afternoon, but it was a good group of people there. Usually you go over there and you could throw a rock and not hit anybody. But, it looks like things are coming back, but I don't think things are going to be quite the same. What do you think?
I'm going to have to agree with you, unfortunately. I mean, I love the movie theaters, like, almost more than anything. That's personally one of my favorite things to do as well. There's just nothing like going to a theater that smells like popcorn. You get a pretzel with popcorn and an icy, sit down, watch some film on the big screen. I don't know. There's just nothing better. But I do think we're heading towards a change, unfortunately, because all these streaming apps, that's why a lot of people don't go to the theaters anymore. And now since COVID, they've been dropping movies on these apps while they've released them in theaters. So everyone's going to be like, I might as well just stay home and watch it. Or if you have to buy it, they're going to pay the $25 instead of the $30 for 2 tickets to go see it.
Yeah, it's too bad. Well, I don't know. I guess to each his own. But I do like that communal feeling of being at a theater. It's great to get out of the house, for one thing. And also to be with an audience, so to watch these things with a group of strangers in the dark, watching these things on a big screen is the way I like to see it. But technology is just crazy these days because you have these things. It's so easy to make these movies as opposed to years ago. I mean, you can get your gear and a good computer and some editing software, and boom, you're in the movie business. And so we're seeing a lot of content being made. I'm not sure how it's all going to shake out, but it's definitely changing. And would you rather see a movie, or do you like the series that you'll see on Netflix? The extended series Breaking Bad that seems to go on for years and years. You like that experience, or get it all done in 2 hours?
I like to get it all done in 2 hours. I can't wait a week for another episode to find out what's happening. It just drives me nuts. And I've never really been a big TV show guy, even though there's some pretty astounding TV shows out there. I've had a weakness for a good movie. You know what I mean? It's just there's
Yeah,
nothing
I mean,
better.
there's one thing, you go see a movie, you get the story in 2 hours, or, spend the next 3 years waiting for these episodes to drop and getting, getting but I was talking to my daughter about that. She said, yeah, but it's like a good book. You don't want it to end. So these series sometimes they think satisfy the need to kind of be a part of a world for an extended period of time. But yeah, I don't know. What about the Academy Awards? What's going to happen there, do you think?
Ooh.
It's kind of interesting because a little information on, I was just taking a look at the ratings for the Academy Awards a while back, and it used to be back in the 80s, you'd have 40 or 50 million people watching this live event. It was huge. And now that is down to about, 10 million. And I'm not sure that number is going to hold because it's just, for one thing, most people don't see the movies, which is part of it. They're not familiar. And, we have to take a look at the Academy and the movies that people go see are the big Marvel movies and the big special event sort of movies, which I'm all for. I like the fact that these movies are being made and people are being entertained by them and people are making so much money. But if you happen to be on the other side of things, there is a certain saneness to those movies. So when something kind of unusual and interesting comes along, that's what's going to get the attention of the Academy. And a lot of Academy members will nominate that sort of a film to be a Best Picture nominee when 95% of the population hasn't seen it.
Oh yeah. But
by the way, did you see the Nomadland last?
Nomadland?
Yeah.
I did not see that either.
Yeah.
I'm
not alone.
too busy watching my old films. I got to catch up here.
No, it was interesting because it was an interesting group of films, and I try to see them all. But a movie like Nomadland with Frances McDormand, traveling around the country in her van, was the Best Picture. And some critic was saying, that isn't entertainment. That is Frances McDormand experiencing exploding diarrhea sitting on a bucket in her van. That is not entertainment. I think, well, yeah, that's true. But it was the winner last year. I just think that they have that hurdle to overcome.
It won Best Picture?
Beg your pardon?
It won Best Picture?
Yeah, and so,
interesting.
Like I say, it's interesting with the Academy Awards. It began years ago, and I was reading the history a while back. It was Louis B. Mayer, basically, building a beach house down on PCH in Santa Monica and using studio carpenters, which he had to pay for out of his own pocket, which is kind of an unusual. Seems like he would have put it on somebody's tab, but he had to pay these guys, and all of a sudden he realized how much money they were making, and then he realized they'd just signed this union agreement with a bunch of studios, so he said, well, we have to head this thing off at the pass. He didn't want this union thing getting out of control, so that's when he decided to form, along with the other studio heads, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, so he could, have these directors and actors and writers be a member of the Academy, and he could control labor costs that way. It didn't work. I mean, they went off and decided to form the Writers Guild and the Producers Guild, Directors Guild, Screen Actors Guild anyway. But that was his attempt to kind of head off the union activity in Hollywood at the time. And the whole award thing was just kind of an afterthought. They thought, well, let's do this. Let's have an award thing. And they held the first award show was held over in Hollywood at the Roosevelt Hotel, still there. The room is still there in 1929. Douglas Fairbanks was the MC. He got up, gave out the awards. The whole thing lasted about 15 minutes. No media coverage, no radio, obviously, or newspaper coverage of the event. It was just kind of a non-plus, and it kind of grew from there. They used to actually, what they would do is they would notify the people that were going to get an award early. They'd notify them like 3 months early so they could make sure that they would show up to get it because they needed to build a crowd for the event. And then it just took off from there and took a life of its own. And now it's, this 4-hour behemoth, which is continuing to evolve. It was an interesting production last year, don't you think?
No, yeah, definitely. I think so, yeah.
Questlove, I love Questlove, but, to have him up, as the DJ. It wasn't quite the Academy Orchestra that we're all used to.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of like the thing was being held in the lobby of a W hotel. It was really kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It's one of those things that, once again, is changing and transforming.
I mean, I think it'll come back though. I think that the numbers have been affected because I think they've lost 30 million of their viewers because most award shows nowadays, I mean, I've noticed it's based off of politics a lot of the time. Instead of talking about the art and the actual projects that they're winning the awards for, I feel like it's not what it used to be. That's why those numbers have gone down a little bit, but I feel they're going to see that. They're going to be like, oh, that's not good. This is the Super Bowl pretty much of film. So we gotta fix that. So now I think they're gonna eventually bring it back to how it used to be, where it's just all about the films, which I hope because, a lot of people disagree on their politics and whatever they might be, but I don't wanna tune into an award show to talk about politics or listen to people talk about politics. I want to see the people win the awards and talk about the roles and the characters they played.
Yeah, true. I mean, that's why people go to the movies, I think, to escape a lot of the politics and things like that going on. So that, I think, should carry over. But it was your guy, Marlon Brando, years ago.
I knew you were going to mention that when he won the Oscar. Yeah, I remember that.
He was kind of at the forefront of all that activity. But
he was.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how it all turns out. I think a good producer can probably figure it out. I think they have to play a lot of clips. I think they have, it's like the Tonys. The great thing about the Tonys, whether you like Broadway musicals or plays or whatever, is they just have all that talent there, and they're performing and they're doing numbers and they're doing this and doing that. And somehow I think the Academy has to figure out how to bring that, make it more entertaining and not this lumbering 4-hour thing where they're, you're having this presentation and then they're presenting the rules and then they're talking about the in memoriam and all that.
They should make it like a little SNL thing, kind of, I think.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Bring a little comedy into it.
Yeah,
there's a lot that I think that could be done because, and you do have to incorporate now streaming. I mean, it has to be the world of, I don't know what you would call it, video, film, entertainment, or something like that. Because I think that what the Academy tries to do, or has tried to do, is ignore Netflix and Amazon and all these people. But I think those days are over.
No, yeah, I think so too. I think so too. This world just keeps changing every day in every aspect of life. It's just crazy how fast things are just completely changing.
So what are you going to see this weekend? I think I might rent On the Waterfront. I haven't seen that movie in a while.
You got to check out The Ruling Class. I promise you. It's a very
Ruling
far
Class,
out.
That's the note I
It's
took.
a far out film, very far out there, very strange, but it's a great movie, and you will not see what's coming. I promise you that.
Great. It's starring my guy, Peter O'Toole.
Yep, exactly.
That's good.
All righty. Well, I just want to thank you, Mr. Steve Evans, for coming on the show to be the special guest host today, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thank you. This has been fun. I mean, nothing I'd rather do than talk about movies, so thank you for the invitation.
All right, Steve, have a great one. Thank you, everybody. God bless America.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or